In today's video, I'm going to tell you an amazing story of a sports brand that everyone around the world loves. Yes, we're talking about Nike. We'll see how Nike turned one of their toughest situations into a big win with a super smart marketing strategy during the 2012 Summer Olympics here in London town. So, the Olympics were coming up and all the big sports brands were super excited with the prospects of becoming the title sponsor of the Olympics because they knew that if they could achieve this, it would generate a lot of revenue. So the auction was held and the title sponsorship went to ADIDAS, and Nike lost out to its arch rival. ADIDAS paid $150 million just to be the title sponsor of the Olympics. And every time we hear a figure like this, the first question that comes to mind is, what exactly is so special about the title sponsorship that you would pay $150 million just to be associated with the Olympics? Well, the answer to that lies in a very simple example, one that's a little bit closer to home, and that is Barclays' title sponsorship of the Premier League. And when I found out that Barclays was going to pay £40 million a year just to place its name as the Barclays Premier League, I was completely shocked. And that is when I looked at the growth of Barclays in terms of brand visibility and engagement in the years they sponsored the Premier League from 2004 to 2016. The Premier League's global viewership and passionate fan base provided Barclays with unprecedented exposure, contributing significantly to its market position. And this is the reason why title sponsorship of any popular sports event is a goldmine for any company. And it's the reason why the Olympics was the perfect gateway for Adidas to get way ahead of Nike. And specifically, they also sat down with the Olympics committee to try and make sure that they implemented stringent rules so that no other brand, let alone Nike, would be able to steal their thunder by actually associating their name with the Olympics. So the Olympics committee came up with a bunch of rules and regulations that have to be followed by every single brand in such a way that they could not associate themselves with the Olympics. And by the way, this also included a list of words which included the London Olympics, Summer Olympics, Olympics 2012, the rings of the Olympics, and so on and so forth. So theoretically, it was made impossible for almost any brand to be associated with the Olympics in a way that would steal the thunder from Adidas. So with all of this in place, everybody thought that Adidas is going to go viral. It's going to remain at the top of the chart because now it is the title sponsor of the Olympics. But you know what? Plot twist. Whilst Adidas had about 9,000 tweets connecting them to the Olympics, there were about 16,000 tweets connecting Nike with the Olympics. But not just that, during the tenure of the Olympics, that is starting from the opening ceremony to the closing ceremony, Adidas gained about 12,000 followers, while Nike gained a staggering 57,000 followers. And the cherry on top was a survey that was conducted in the US where people were asked, who do you think is the title sponsor of the Olympics? 21% of people thought that it was Adidas, but 37% of people identified Nike as the title sponsor. So the question is, without being the title sponsor of the Olympics, without spending $150 million, without using any of the keywords to associate yourself with the Olympics, how was it practically possible for a brand to acquire more publicity than the real title sponsor? And that's where the legendary strategy of Nike came into play. So the first thing they understood was, regardless of how complex the system was, there was always a loophole, and they found three. First loophole was, regardless of whoever is the title sponsor of the Olympics, athletes were free to choose whichever shoe they wanted. And that is the reason why Nike hired 400 Olympians to be its brand ambassadors and to ask them to wear the Nike shoe that they were given. And Nike came up with a quirky line of shoes which they named Volt, where they distributed yellow-green colored shoes to the athletes to be worn during their time at the Olympics. And the reason why they specifically chose the yellow-green lineup was because that color was in perfect contrast to the tracks of the Olympics. The second loophole they found was this rule that prohibited Nike from showcasing London in their commercials. But you know what? The loophole here is that there are 28 other locations in the world which are named London except London in the UK. So Nike shot their commercials in all the other Londons except London in the UK. So the commercials were shot in London in Ohio, Little London in Jamaica, the London Hotel, the London Gym, Small London in Nigeria, and even London Road. And cleverly, Nike was able to place the word London in all of its commercials legally. And third and most importantly, and here's where the sweet spot was. Usually, if you look at these Nike and Adidas commercials, you will see celebrities endorsing the brand, but when it came to Nike for the Olympics, they were not allowed to use Olympians for endorsements. So while Adidas was showing off in all of its commercials by hiring these top-level Olympians to be brand ambassadors, Nike decided to hire average teenagers as ambassadors for its brand endorsement. I repeat, while Adidas had top-level Olympians, Nike hired average teenagers who were not known to anybody as ambassadors to endorse its brand. And Nike came out with this beautiful masterpiece which literally, I mean literally, broke the internet. Just like Coca-Cola leveraged the emotion of happiness to communicate its ideas, Nike leverages the emotion of inspiration to communicate its idea. In both cases, these brands are trying to create an involuntary response from their commercials. And if you look at Nike's commercial more closely, you would see that they actually don't want to talk about Usain Bolt. They want to talk about the Usain Bolt spirit within every single individual, like you and like me. And if you are someone who's pushing your limits every day to become the best version of yourself, that Nike commercial is literally telling your own story. And because Nike managed to strike a chord with local champions, it was able to start trending and was trending #1 on YouTube 1 week after the Olympics started with 4.5 million views. Adidas, however, was at #3 with only 2.9 million views. And that's without being the title sponsor, without paying $150 million, and without actually using the banned keywords. Nike managed to steal all of the thunder from Adidas and emerge as the champion in this marketing war. Now, we've got 3 very important lessons to learn from this entire case study. #1. Do you realize that even if Nike hadn't tried so hard, if the Olympics happened without Nike coming out with its Find Your Greatness commercial, people would still remember them, right? Nike wouldn't be forgotten, and yet Nike went the extra mile to come up with a beautifully crafted commercial to beat Adidas in spite of all the odds. And that is because Nike as a brand realizes that the only difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little extra. In this case, it's Nike's efforts to emerge as a legend in spite of the odds. #2. People might forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And Nike's commercial is a classic depiction of this idea. So, if you decide to make something, make sure it's remarkable. Because in this world, 99% of people are good, but only 1% are great. And that is only because they choose to be great. But last and most importantly, like the legend says, somehow we have come to believe that greatness is meant only for a chosen few, that greatness is only meant for the superstars. But the truth is, greatness is for everyone. It's not about lowering the expectation, but about raising it for each one of us. Because greatness is not in one special person or one special place. Greatness is wherever somebody is trying to find it. So my dear friend, my question to you is, what are you doing to find your greatness? And if you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Ultra and out.